It's something that I don't usually talk about because I'm afraid that I'm making people uncomfortable. It's something that affects me in almost every aspect of life.
There's something about having dark skin on a woman's body that shapes the way she moves through the world. There's something about having darker skin on a male body that shapes the way in which he moves through the world. It has real life stakes.
From what I've seen growing up, dark skin equates to being poor, dirty, ratchet.
They tend to be the bad guys in Tyler Perry movies, straight from the border.
That doesn't even make any sense. I'm not deemed as beautiful, therefore I am not beautiful. And those two are not really mutually exclusive.
Could it be that something as early as colonization or slavery is primarily responsible for our beauty standards today? We're talking about who works in the field and who works in the house. We're also talking about rape, the rape of slaves to produce people who are known as mulattoes or mixed race. These standards of beauty travel. Eurocentric standards of beauty travel.
In the Dominican society and our culture, they have a phrase that's like mejorando la raza, advancing the Dominican population and making sure we're going into how they say the better. If you're lighter, you're bettering the race and you're bettering the island versus if you're just being you.
I would get called the blackness. One joke that really stuck with me was like, oh, Edgar's so black that when he leaves a car, the check engine light turns on. That was a reference to my skin being as dark as oil. I felt ugly being of a darker skin tone. So I tried to gel my hair, or I started listening to skater punk music. So I tried culturally to lighten myself, if that makes sense.
All right. Welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing this evening?
Hey, everybody.
All right. So I see we have 5 people here. So let me stop sharing here so we can get into conversation mode. So yes. Welcome, everybody. So I am Erica, also known as Swarthy Daisy. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up or a number 1. Give me a number 1 if you can hear me. Someone said there was an echo on the video, so my apologies for that. I will definitely leave the link in the comments, in the description box below when this is over, okay? So KF said, yes, KF can hear me good. Thank you, and welcome. Also, she's all about her. No, we can't hear. So she says she cannot hear right now. So I'm not sure if everyone else can, but we're going to keep moving. Let's see. Kaya, welcome. She has to be chic. She's all about her coins, what a teacher needs. Also, who else do we have? If you're here and listening, please make sure to leave a comment or just say hey, and we will definitely shout you out. Okay, I'm hearing from, she's all about her coins, that there is a really bad echo. So if anybody else has a very bad, if you're hearing a very, very bad echo, please let me know. Are you hearing an echo? Is anyone else hearing an echo? Because sometimes if you have 2 devices running, you'll hear a bad echo. But is anyone else hearing a bad echo? All right, KF said no echo on her end. Okay, so a couple other people said they are not hearing an echo, so I appreciate that. Good. Jamie, welcome. Aurora, hey, how you doing? That's Michelle. Fee, no echo. Okay, all right, awesome. So, welcome everybody. Sarah, oh, good. Welcome. All right, so the roots of colorism. There is an old rhyme that went something like this, or it went like this. If you're black, stay back. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're white, you're all right. So the roots of colorism. What is colorism? It refers to the discrimination based on skin color. It uplifts people with lighter skin, while downplaying people with darker skin. Colorism has contributed to lower incomes, job prospects, lower marriage rates, longer prison sentences, and much more. Colorism in America was at an all-time high during slavery. Remember the field hand versus the house servant? Often, lighter-skinned slaves were products of slave rape, and white slave masters and African slaves were the ones that created these children. Although many slave owners did not claim or acknowledge their mixed-race children, the plantation tasks that they received were far less grueling than that of a field slave. This colorism phenomena has been seen on display in popular culture from the movie Roots to the docuseries Dark Girls. Colorism has had its effects all over the world, from the US to India. In tonight's interview, we will discuss how colorism has impacted people of color, including tonight's guest, Leslie. So everyone help me welcome Leslie from Brown Girls Embrace.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, Erica.
No problem. Hey, everybody. I'm looking back on the chat. So welcome, Fee. I see you there. Sarah, Michelle. Yep. We see Willie Lynch syndrome. She has to be chic. And Jamie, I see you guys. So everybody's saying hey to you, Leslie. So I'm going to go ahead and show that.
Oh, hey, guys. Hey, Felicia. Hey, Saida. Hey, Jamie.
All right. So let's jump into some questions. And for those of you in the comment, please make sure to comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on some of these questions. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the first question of the day. So number one, how has colorism impacted you personally, Leslie? So you all in the comment can also share your experiences and I'll share them on the screen. So how has colorism impacted you personally?
Okay, so growing up for me, I had a lot of insecurities about my complexion, and I always thought like being dark equal to something being bad. Like, oh, you're dark skinned, that's not a good thing. So I had a lot of self-hate towards myself because of the complexion of my skin. So that's basically what I went through growing up.
All right. So how about you all in the comments? Have you all been impacted by colorism personally? Of course, myself also being of a darker hue. So I'm a dark skinned female as well, or woman. I'm not gonna call myself a female. But I am female, but I am a woman. Let me correct. But colorism definitely has been something that has impacted me as well. Growing up, of course, people asking you why your complexion is so dark. I grew up in the South. I grew up in Miami. Now, the difference is, though, in Miami, it was a little bit different because we had a lot more people from the Caribbean. So I had a lot of people of like kind. So a lot of people were just as dark as me. And so we kind of were around the same complexion. But I will say that when I moved further north, like maybe to North Florida and to Georgia, I did get more questions from people about my complexion. So that was an impact. And yes, it does hurt because it's like people that look like you or are of the same racial group as you are asking you these questions as if you're some kind of alien. So I thought that was pretty odd. But for the most part, I felt like growing up in Miami, I didn't experience it as bad as other people did in other places in the US, right? And Leslie, you're in what area? Where did you grow up?
I live in the DMV area, Upper Marlboro area.
Oh, okay. So go ahead.
To go back what you said about growing up, how people ask why were you that complexion. I do remember times where I did spend weekends or show pictures of my grandmother because she's of a lighter complexion, and people always ask, well, why is she light and you dark? I'm like, well, a Black family has different colors in it, so right. I don't know why I feel like personally it was kind of an ignorant question to ask, like, Black people have all different kinds of colors in it and shades of, color of brown in it. So that was one thing. Like, why can't she be my grandmother because she's lighter?
Right, right. That's unfortunate that people would even consider that to be an anomaly, and knowing that genetically people of color do have children of all hues. That's the beauty of it, right? You can't just say, well, you have two parents that look like this, so the child
Yeah.
is absolutely going to look like that, or
Yeah.
the grandmother looks like this, or the
Yeah.
grandfather looks like that. Yeah, that's just not how genetics works.
Yeah, and actually, my parents, they're of a dark skin complexion, but their parents were lighter. Like my father's mother was lighter, and so was my mother's mother lighter, but they just, because their fathers were dark, so they came out dark. So it
Right,
happens.
right, right. But it's unfortunate that people think that way. So I'm going to look at the comments a little bit here, and I'll show them on the screen if you want to respond a little bit. But here we go. We have Sarah. She says, I heard every "you so black" joke growing up. I never felt beautiful. What do you have to say about that?
I have to say that's I know what it feels like. Um, but those people are, I no offense to anybody, but that's kind of ignorant because black people are beautiful. Like our skin is full of melanin and so many. It's just a lot of beauty to us. So that's a real ignorant comment. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Right.
I had people, relatives, tell me, "Oh, you're blacky, you're this, you're that," but that was just not like good energy or good people to be around. So you have to kind of love yourself throughout it all. That's how to
Mm-hmm.
overcome it.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then also over 30 says, people compared my sister and I'm darker than her. And
Yeah,
she's
it's
about,
bad in Florida. Yeah, I keep hearing that the South is pretty different than up here in the North.
okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm anywhere between Orlando to South Carolina, North Carolina, in that area, that South, because we're here in Maryland, we're still considered the South.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah, we're below the Mason-Dixon line. But, it's to me, you have a lot of migration of people from way north. I'm looking at this comment from Fee. It says, no, not really. So she's answering. She grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and most people were from the Caribbean. So it's kind of similar experience as the people from Florida, well, South Florida, I would say. Aurora says, I actually have a deeper hue than both my mother and father, and I never knew it until it was brought to my attention as an adult. I just knew that in my family, black came in all colors.
Exactly. Especially in our family. I know my particular family, we have all shades of color of black in ours. And it's just us.
Mm-hmm.
But some people do give like, oh, treat them differently because they're lighter complexion, which sucks too. And I guess it's a learned behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to grow out of that and become better and love our people for who they are. Because, love comes first from your family.
Mm-hmm.
And when your family doesn't love you, that kind of carries throughout your life.
Mm-hmm. And as we kind of saw in the clip that we opened up with, that it does impact people when there is a history of slavery. And like you said, more in the South. In the South, we were impacted by slavery a lot more. A lot of our family members migrated south to South Florida and other parts of Florida and then north. So we do carry a lot of that, kind of old baggage with us and our different families and cultures and the way, people speak like, oh, she's pretty because she's light skinned,
Exactly.
or she got good hair and all those different things.
And black women, black dark skinned women are just as beautiful as lighter complexion women.
Mm-hmm. Of course. But of course, the propaganda behind it. We know who's behind all of this. All right. So she says, my dad's mother was real light and had straight hair. My dad's side of the family are major colorists. They don't like dark skin. Wow.
Oh, that's so sad to hear. Because we're beautiful people.
Right. The Eve gene is what Aurora says. And then Electric says, is ignorance and lack of exposure.
It is. You hit it right on the nail when she said that.
Mm-hmm. And then Aurora comes back with the mental conditioning and brainwashing is so deep.
Yeah, it's funny that she says that because back in slavery, when they used to work in the fields, Like, the darkers will work further away from the house and the lighters will work in the house. So they started the division between us. So it's funny that we still carry that same hate that, the masters have given us. Because basically I feel like we should really embrace each other, because we know what the hurt is like. We know what pain is like. So just embrace each other and love each other. Don't tear the next person down because that's what you were taught to do.
But if it's learned behavior, is probably it's hard for people to work those things out. But the benefit of your podcast and your message is to help people to shine a light on the situation. She's also says, I was bullied in middle school by some boys and called BDB buckshot. People are shameful. So again, that texturism.
Yeah, it's very common in the African American community.
She's electric. Many only know what they've seen and experienced. You can't be phased. I pity them because they're living in a small bubble.
Yeah, you're being closed-minded and not open to other people because of the complexion of their skin. Because the complexion of your skin doesn't define who you are as an individual. It doesn't define your personality, what you've been through in life. It's just a skin covering who your personality.
And then Sarah says, I still get the don't stay in the sun so long. You're getting dark comments from my mom, but now I love my skin and I stay in the sun as long.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Over 30 says, I love the natural movement because it taught self-love. I love
Yes, it did. I think the natural hair movement came out in 2010, and I started embracing. I stopped getting a perm in 2010 because I identified more with the natural hair movement.
Right, and I'm natural too. Been natural for a long time, but yes, I do understand that it did highlight the texturism issue, and then that also went hand in hand with the colorism issue. Also, let's see, we have a couple more comments coming in. Jamie says, the colorism among Dominicans makes me mad. They look down at the browner Haitians, though they are all on the same island. I just don't get it. So yes, that is the global impact of colorism, right? Because
what I learned is that people want to be people, and you do have to accept people for who they are. But as long as you love yourself, everything will be okay.
Very true. Teacher says, me too. The sun gives my skin a wonderful glow. Yes. She says, she's responding. She says, good for you. I agree. The natural movement does encourage self-love.
Yes.
Clary says, welcome, Clary. Says, girl, don't even get me started on how Dominicans don't even realize they're Black. Okay. Aurora says, I think it's important to know the history of these backward ways of thinking. Claire drives her nuts, and she says she lived in the Dominican for a while and it was shocking at first and truly crazy. All right, so the second question for you, as well as the great folks in the comment section, how have you dealt with colorism? So how have you dealt with it personally?
So it's funny that you mentioned that because Moesha just came on Netflix, and Moesha was like one of the first dark-skinned girls on TV that I kind of looked up to because she was somebody on TV who looked like me. So growing up watching Moesha helped because she was pretty to me, and also listening to like Lauryn Hill and India Reid, and then going back to the natural hair movement back in 2010 when I started to identify more with the natural hair movement. It became who I was. And then in 2012, I started growing locks because I really wanted to embrace who I was. So that's how I do. I just embraced it and loved it because it was beautiful to me. So why not embrace it? It wasn't about self-hate anymore. It was about time for me to start loving myself.
And your locks were really, really nice. I will say that. I do miss that.
I had them after 9 years, but I love them.
Let's see, Lola, welcome. She says, my friend's grandma told her to fix the race. What is it? Clara la raza? Something like that, to clear up or whiten the race. So that's really what they say in some Hispanic cultures.
What is it?
clara la raza. So I need She's Electric to confirm for me, but I think that's the term that they use in Hispanic communities where they're saying like clear up or lighten up the race. So you don't really date another African looking person, but
Mhm.
date someone that is a little more Spaniard in order to have babies that are not dark.
Oh wow.
So that's what Lola's talking about. My friend's grandma told her to fix the race. Her grandma is white Cuban. I heard that throughout high school. So yes, that is true.
Okay.
Aurora says you'll find that this is common amongst cultures that have been colonized by Europeans. It's not a natural way to think. It is a system that has purposely been put in place. That is so true. Divide and conquer was used with slaves. Absolutely.
Exactly. I just said that. She's so right.
What a teacher says, I mostly went natural for my students. They didn't feel beautiful without weave. That's true in Florida. They're big on weave. I went natural to show them that I am just like them and it's beautiful to be yourself.
It is. That's beautiful that she did it for them.
That's really nice. It's setting that tone and being a role model for them. Clary says, embracing my color and embracing others.
Yes, I love to hear it. I love Moesha and India Reed. Yes.
Yeah. And then Moesha made it cool to rock braids. That's so true.
She was the reason why I started wearing box braids too.
Okay. She says, aclara la raza. I was just saying clara. I left out the ah. So anyways, that is the term. Hey, Kay, welcome to the show. Welcome. She says, I just love my natural hair. So that's she grew up in Florida as well as Lola. So we know the South Florida.
And it's actually not a bad texture of hair once we start embracing it and wearing our own hair. You start realizing how your texture really forms.
Right. Okay, so sadly, it's a very prominent thought in the Caribbean culture. So true. So she was answering Aurora. Fee says, I am not my
hair. One of my favorite songs.
Yeah. And then she says, look, I want it to be down too. It's cool to have box braids. Absolutely. All right. The third question. When did you finally embrace your skin complexion? So finally, after all of your journey and listening to India and changing your hair, doing all these, I wouldn't say drastic things, but doing all these different things to yourself, when did you finally come to embrace your skin complexion?
I was just at a point in my life where I was tired of the self-hate that I was giving to myself. And because I looked up to India Reed and Lauryn Hill, I just wanted to embrace it. So that's when I was really into Lauryn Hill's music a lot. And she was so pretty with her locks. So that's when I started to grow my locks too after listening to all her music. And I always looked up to her because she was just so pretty to me. And I just wanted to be happy. I was tired of being miserable because what other people thought wasn't pretty. Because I thought brown skin women are very attractive. They're very beautiful. Like melanin skin is gorgeous to me. So why? Because other people hate it, I decided I want to hate myself. So I was just done with the self-hate and just wanted to embrace whatever I was going through, my skin, my health, whatever. I was going to embrace it. I wasn't going to be mad about it because it is what it is.
And you know what's so interesting? The mainstream media, when you look at them, they are into the tanning or bronzing their skin or plumping their lips, even surgically getting all of these procedures, the larger hips and butt, implants and things like that to mimic the body shapes of women of color. So again, a lot of women of color did not realize the beauty because, again, stemming from that slavery mindset and all the things that they went through in slavery. We've seen in a different movie trade, the field hand, like I mentioned earlier, the house slave, and then that built up that animosity, and it was like, oh, so you think you're better because you massive, offspring or something like that. And it's unfortunate that carried on throughout the centuries and the years. And again, a lot of the people that are light-skinned today are not saying, hey, I'm more privileged than you because of this, but low-key, some of that maybe some of that residue from slavery might still be in our society, and they might feel like they got that little leg up, especially if we're going to talk about dating later, but especially if you're getting more attention from men or
Exactly.
give you a little bit more privilege, as if, some other races are experiencing, then you might feel a little air like, hey, I got it going on.
Yes.
Aurora says,
up all the time.
huh?
When people boasting you up all the time.
Absolutely. Aurora says, there were colorists in my family, but my mother made certain I was never around them, so it didn't affect me. To this day, I'm careful not to spend too much time with negative and unhealthy thinkers. Awesome.
That's the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Fee was going back on the hair. She says, my light-skinned hairdresser told me she wasn't perming my hair anymore, so I've been natural ever since.
Yes.
Good for you. Clary says, I'm a hairstylist, and so is Leslie. She says, and the textures of our hair are truly beautiful. We have the most diverse hair texture on the planet. Yes, we
do. And it's not nappy, it's curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's tightly curled hair.
Teacher says, I'm just glad we love to embrace our hair, because that hot comb. Oh, okay. So we learned to embrace our hair, because that hot comb as a kid still has me jumping when I feel heat near my ear.
Yeah, the same thing too. My mom was a hairdresser too, so person curls, I would hold my ear, and I thought she was going to burn me, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. But I was just always paranoid I was going to get burnt with the hot comb.
Oh, yeah, I don't care for that. Never did. All right, Jamie says, growing up in the South, long hair and light skin were everything. All I ever wanted was long, good hair. Admittedly, I still want nice, and I'm doing air quotes, long hair, but now I believe that all hair is good hair.
Yes, happy that you think that way now.
Aurora says, my first time coming across direct colorism, I was about 18 years old and sitting in a cafe at university with this beautiful Bahamian girl. In walked a girl with a yellowish complexion. Okay. Well, I'm going to finish the story. I think she's saying here, I saw a girl who had cystic acne, a bad weave, and shoes 2 times too small for her. I thought, poor girl, she's at least walking with confidence. Okay. What an interesting story. Yeah. At 18, that's when you're really aware of who you are and what you want to do with your life. And then they're like, you're not good enough. Look at your kid. Go back to where you came from now. All right. Wumi says, colorism, and welcome, Wumi. Colorism transcends culture and is deeply rooted in West Africa, as well with things like skin bleaching creams. The documentary Skin on Netflix sheds a lot of light onto that issue. Have you heard of that documentary?
No, I haven't.
All right, so we're going to have to check that one out, called Skin, and having the connection with West Africa, and I have seen other.
I did see it on Netflix. I just haven't watched it yet, though.
Oh, okay. So yeah, check that one out. But yeah, in Africa, they do tend to use a lot of skin bleaching creams. So that's an interesting concept there. We can kind of cover that again. So thank you for that. Kaya, welcome. She says, I'm still very young, but I definitely came to embrace myself in high school.
Yes.
Miami in the house. Welcome.
Embrace yourself.
Yes. She says, my dad would always tell my sister and I that we were pretty, so I never hated myself. I grew up being told to love myself for me. You go, girl. We saw that one. Fee says, I saw Lauren walking down the street in NYC. I would have freaked out.
Lauren Hill? Oh, wow.
Yeah. She was such an idol. Well, we don't idolize people, but I'm just saying. She was such a role model. Can I say that? Aurora says, the beautiful mahogany girl beside me looked at the same girl and said out loud, she thinks she's all that just because she's light skinned. Oh, we're continuing that story. So she says, I was shocked that light skin could be seen as something that is an asset. So I see that. Do you see what she's saying? A darker skinned girl was seeing a lighter skinned girl and saying, oh, she thinks she all that because she got light skin. That's just like, oh, he think he all that because he driving a Benz.
Yeah, well, that's ignorant too, because you don't know what person's thinking. You're not a psychic or a mind reader, so you really don't know what people are thinking. The light skinned girl could have had insecurities of her own because she felt some type of way about light skinned people. She said,
Right.
she thinks she all that.
Right. We can't assume, but maybe she's had a confidence. You never know.
Yeah.
We women, we have so many days where we wake up and we feel amazing, and then other days we feel horrible. And guess what? Light-skinned people can feel horrible too.
Yeah,
They are
actually
human.
happened myself. A lot of people say you walk around with so much confidence, and really, I have a lot of my own insecurities. But maybe that's just the way that I walk. So.
Well, keep that confidence going. Sarah says, initially it took outside affirmation in the beginning. I started getting compliments on my skin in my 20s and then came to love and appreciate it for myself. All right. And so that was a good one. We got a response. Okay. Clara says, some light skin back in the day would be a go-between between the massa and the field hand, and with were dark-skinned slaves all the time, which is animosity also came in. Okay. Please talk about length retention. That's the new movement, y'all. With the natural hair, it's like you can get it to grow. You put all the rice waters and all these different things on it to get it to grow, but can you retain that length?
Right.
A whole nother conversation. I might have to bring you back for a natural hair chat. Would that be nice?
That's cool.
Okay, we'll do a natural hair chat because we need some tips, because you're natural, I'm natural. Most of the women that are commenting this evening are also natural. So we would love that. And let us know in the comments if you want to have a natural hair chat. Let us know and I'll set it up, okay? All right, so it says, so Clary says, now I have to say, back in the day, grandmas would put those lighter skin, in the family on a pedestal. Hello? Stop making a big deal over light-skinned kids. They're not special. So all children are special, right? But yeah, that is a big one. What do you think about that?
Yeah, actually, there was I had a friend who came over to my house, and my cousin came over too, and she's like, "Oh, she's so cute, she's so pretty," and it was because she was lighter. But then when my darker skinned friend came, she didn't say nothing, and I was just like, "Dang!"
And that was in your family?
Yeah, it was one of my cousins.
Wow. That's unfortunate, but it happens. There's some responses, so I see some good dialogue in the comment. Here, Aurora says, I read a book about 20 years ago called Hair Story. I saw that, I didn't read it. It explained that during slavery, many slave owners would free their offspring upon their death. All right, so we have some more comments. So the enslaved people's desire to believably pass for free moved them to look for a way to change the texture of their hair. You know what? I can see that passing thing. If you already have a light enough skin complexion, and then Madam CJ came, we'll have to save Madam CJ for our hair discussion, but when Madam CJ came in and said, hey, that nappy hair got to go, y'all. Then came out with her products, right? And she was teaching y'all that, hey, straighter hair is neater and more acceptable. I can see how people said, hey, why would I want to walk in this Black experience, right? When I could just easily, straighten my hair and take it my life and pass and live a decent life and not be discriminated against. This is survival at that time. I don't know that I would say that I wouldn't have done it. And I'm just being honest. If I had a chance to live a better life in a time where you were suppressed so bad and treated so horribly, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just
weave is so, and I'm 30 years old. So in my generation, weave is in. Everybody has a weave. Everybody wants Brazilian hair and the bundles for $500. And I never wanted to buy a weave and get straight hair. I've always just wanted to wear my own hair. I never wanted to have fake hair. I just wanted to be myself and express myself for who I was. Right.
Well, that's good. That was a good start. And again, I like to switch up my look. I'm not so big into weaves anymore because of the damage that I've sustained from hair weaves and traction alopecia. But I will say I will wear a little wig, and I just got into the straighter textured wigs. Typically, I wear something that has a poof or a swirl, but I have tried straighter wigs. So, you know, it's just a part of creativity. I'm not saying I hate myself or my hair.
And I'm not saying nothing against the other girls who do wear weaves, but I just never, I always want to just have my own, be myself and have my own hair out.
Good. The movie Imitation of Life is really great. I keep hearing that, and it's free on YouTube, y'all, by the way. It said the woman had a daughter who could pass for white. And I don't know what IDPN means. I'm not that cool. I'm not sure what that means. All right, so here some of the ladies are saying they would love a natural chat. So we will set that up, natural hair. Lola says she prefers straighter hair. All right, I see you.
Everybody has their preference.
Right. Clary says, I started embracing my skin color when I stopped caring what other people thought. My mom always taught me to love myself in that way. Got to teach our kids to have a balanced view of themselves.
I love it.
And last one here. Yep, the family caste system happens a lot in the Caribbean and Southern households. Yes, and we have a beautiful intersection of both, right? She's electric. All right, the next question. How has colorism affected your love life? So we're moving on into relationships. How has it affected your love life, or has it?
It has, because like I said, having a lot of insecurities, you kind of walk around insecure. You think that, you know, nobody wants you. They want all the light-skinned girls, so you're not even gonna, well, me, I didn't put a lot of effort into myself. Like, I've always never been like, oh, he doesn't want me because I'm dark. But I was really tearing myself down because a lot of guys thought I was pretty, but I was kind of pushing them away with my attitude. My own insecurities were pushing guys away.
That's unfortunate that happened, but I know it's a real thing, so we're not going to invalidate your feelings and your experience on that.
Yeah, but when you get older, you know, like, hey, I'm a good catch.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm gonna tiptoe back to some of the comments. Someone asked, what is a caste system? So CASTE, I think is spelled. I think what that is where you have levels of, like in India, right? They have more of a caste system. It's more of a middle class. So it's more of a class system, but they call it caste in other countries. But it's more like a middle class, lower class. And it also is impacted by colorism as well, because maybe the higher earning people are lighter skinned because they have more opportunities versus the darker skinned people who typically have menial jobs in other countries. So, yeah.
I still think kind of that way with the singers, the artists that are out. A lot of these female artists, R&B artists who can't sing, but because they're light, they made it.
Okay. It could be. I mean, Beyonce is like killing it, you know, and Kelly
is very talented.
Catch up, and they were out around the same time. So we see it in music for sure. Going back though to the conversation about dating, Lola says, I see the hypocrisy in it all. So I'm all for interracial dating. Go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. So she's a divester, as that's the term they're using out in these YouTube streets. So what are your thoughts on interracial dating as a person of color?
I think it's beautiful that men embrace who we are now. I see it more now. It's a couple on YouTube. The Maslins is an Asian guy and an African woman. And I just think that it's so beautiful. I love it.
Okay. And I do see a lot of the IR, interracial couples, having YouTube channels, and they're producing children, and they're like Lola said, really, some of those ladies have shared their experiences with dating as darker skinned women and all of the rejection that they experienced, right? And a lot of them felt like they had to broaden their horizons and open their minds up to people of other races just to be able to date. And I know a couple of the ladies in here, even some of the younger ladies, have dated interracially. So if you want to comment about what the difference is, if you dated people of color versus interracially, maybe that'll give us some insight. I haven't done it. I don't know about you, Leslie.
No, I haven't done it. I have friends who have done it.
Okay.
And I love
And
to see, this is something personal. I love to see a white man with a black woman. I just think that's so beautiful to me.
It's a lot of diversity in that. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a lot of diversity in that because again, there are differing opinions on it. It's not for everyone, but if we are all
That's
children
just
of
something that I personally like to see.
God, yeah, if we're all children of God, color should not matter. If we go back to the original purpose, right?
Mhm.
But society has, of course, again, speaking of that residue, we still have a lot of that, old thinking from back in slavery days that black and white are to be separated. But yeah, when black women are happy with the mates that they choose that are of other races, it is beautiful. I think it's beautiful. So are you open to it now going forward?
Interracial couples being
You dating someone of another race.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
of course.
And what do you think some of the pros and cons would be? And we're not here to bash any races specifically, but what do you think the differences would be if you were to date someone of a different race?
The exposure that because everybody's like, the black culture is different from other cultures. So just the experience, how they live their life, how they do activities, how they interact with their families. Even family functions will be different. I feel like, because when we have functions, you know how it is, and when they have functions, it's more, on a chill level.
Okay.
I think I
And
would
what do
be
you think?
open. I would experience more.
And what do you think you can teach each other from the experience?
How to deal with life obstacles and problems, because they might see it one way and I might see it another. So something that might be a big deal to me, it might not be a big deal to him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
just to have that balance between each other.
Oh, okay. Okay. That is a perspective. All right. So we have some push. We have 14 people in here. So push to get the like button hit. And what the like button does on YouTube videos is it shows it to more people. So more people do need to hear this conversation and be aware of the effects of colorism. Aurora says, men who want you because you're light don't love you. It's a fetish. Men who don't want you because you're dark are doing you a favor. What do you think about that?
It depends on the person. You don't know his mentality, so I can't put all of them into one category.
Okay. Okay. Very true. Very true. Sarah says it's not my preference, but I'm not opposed. Just looking at some of the responses. Clary says, I'm married, interracial. Oh, and I've had no issues, surprisingly. I think you need to just make a logistical decision in choosing a marriage mate. Ooh,
Yes.
So think about that.
Mm-hmm. There was this movie on Netflix with Kerry Washington, and she, her son name was Jamal, but he was interracial. So, just trying to raise a kid who's, interracial, and still know that they have to be aware of being a black male. That was something I thought about when she said that comment.
Okay. Okay. She says, I dipped in interracial relationships, and it was definitely about being celebrated. All I did was exotic and fascinating to him. So what do you think about that piece? Them seeing us as exotic or like, ooh.
I mean, well, we are. We're beautiful people. We can come across as exotic to them.
Okay. Okay, that's true. That's true. And kind of like foreign, not foreign, but if you're a white male or a male of a different race that has not grown up in an environment where there was a lot of diversity, I can see where, now that
American women, we have a lot of heart and soul, and we're passionate speakers. So I can see why you think that we're exotic and we're an experience for him.
Jamie says, for a while, I kept meeting these men who liked white women. It bothered me for a while. So she must be saying men of color that like white women.
Yeah. Well, what I had to understand is I couldn't really be mad at them because everybody has a preference. We can't get mad at guys for liking who they like. I mean, because I have my preference of who I like, so I don't want anybody to be mad at me because I like a certain guy a certain way. So we all have our preferences. That's what it comes down to.
Aurora says, oh, she took it way back because we went to college together. She says, I remember one brother who was exceptionally good looking. I remember him, Jeremy. He couldn't understand why she was not responding to his advances. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. And you know what? I guess he felt like he was owed that, but we were all young back then. We were in our 20s. So, you know, it was like everything was fresh and new. And this boy thing, when you're finally away from your family's house and you go away to college and you're like, woo, you know,
Right.
all kinds of people from different backgrounds. But yeah, I do remember that. Lola says, it makes me sad when I see women staying with that whole struggle love for the sake of having a black king. What do you think about that?
The struggle love. I don't think love should be a struggle. And
Right.
if he's a king, he should treat you like a queen.
Yes,
But
yes.
I have seen it. I have had friends who desperately want to be in a relationship, so they let their mates treat them like anything because they have to have this black king thing going on, and he's not treating you like a queen.
Right. And you know what? You are the prize, ladies. We ain't making no man no king. I mean, you can be the king of my house once you paying all the bills. Then I'll give you that. But for the most part,
a king takes care of a queen, so
that's true. That's true. But
if
you
with
just,
a king didn't take care of his queen.
right. So you got, but kingship comes with certain status.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think if you have
don't deserve it for nothing, like because of your looks. I don't know.
You gotta have some money. I'm sorry. And it's not all about money because all of us on here have, you know, a way to sustain ourselves financially. But, you know, if you are wanting king status, you gotta have a kingdom, right?
Yes.
So I can't be, like she said, the struggle love is like, oh, I gotta be loyal to this group of people because of their color or their, you know, my ethnic background or whatever. But I'm sorry, you don't get that if you got me out here, lights cut off and struggling it up with you, and you don't have enough money to meet your bills. So financial security, all of those things are important. So speaking of, even with that, what are some things that you think are important for a man to have in place of any race to be a good mate for you?
Definitely, I'm a spiritual person, so a spiritual head mindset. He has to have a good relationship with God, and he has to have fear in him and respect him. So if you can respect God, then you can respect me. That's how I see it. If your love for God is there and is strong and you respect it, then that's a good foundation for me. And just being stable mentally, spiritually, physically. And personality plays a big part. I like a down to earth, chill guy, not too uptight, funny, you know.
Okay, those are all good qualities. Wumi says, I feel like some dark-skinned men who have their own self-esteem issues, which is key,
yes,
toward lighter-skinned women because they feel like it elevates their status.
Exactly, I agree.
Okay. Chocolate lady fetish. Oh, wow. Yeah, some people do have it. I was talking to a mixed guy who had a white father and a black mother. He loved natural hair and no makeup look. Just come as you are. What do you think about that? The very au naturel men that are attracted to that. Do you think that's something that men are like a majority of men go for, or is that something unique?
I think now I have a lot of guy friends, and I think now they want to see natural. They want to see what you look like up front. They don't want to wait to go to sleep with you at night to see the real you. When they meet you, they want the real deal. They want your real hair out. They want the no eyelashes on, the no makeup. They want you to come as you.
Okay.
And have some confidence with it.
Okay. That's true. I agree.
Women are very pretty with all of that stuff anyway. So.
That's what the natural hair movement was promoting. And men, I heard on some podcasts that men do like to see your face. They want to see, they don't, like you said, they don't want any surprises when they get home and you take their wig off and all that makeup and the nails and the lashes and the this and that. They don't want to, they want to see what naturally, like what is the bare bones look for her? She jumps into a pool, comes out beautiful. What is that beauty that she naturally possesses? So I think that's true. Men like that. Sarah was saying she feels like the opposite can happen and our dark skin become fetishized, and that is a problem. So you don't want to feel objectified. So in cases, yes, that is true. Fee says, I don't like when Black men put other women of other races up on a pedestal and downgrade women that look like their mothers and sisters. What do you
Exactly. I feel the same way, Felicia. Because men, your mother's dark, your auntie's dark, your grandma's dark, but you came from a dark family and now you're putting your people down.
Right.
That's self-hate.
Right. I agree. Aurora says it is why you like who you like. That is important to her. And so we have some responses. Let me see. Ooh, we have so many. Let's see. I'm trying to jump through. And there's a difference between a preference and a prejudice. A lot of Black men seem to hate Black women as if they don't have the same skin. And again, we don't want to bash because we don't, like she said, a lot of, not the majority or not all, right? There are a lot of them that have been impacted by the world and the things that are going on out here in these streets, right? Tend to have some of these qualities of hate, but going back to Wumi's comment, the self-hate is wrapped up in the fact that I need somebody of a lighter status because I don't like my own skin.
Exactly.
So yes, that is definitely a point. Let's see. 4 more likes if you're enjoying the conversation. Thank you. Aurora said, the movie Imitation of Light. Oh, she's still on there. She said it's really great. I need to
look at this movie. I never even heard of Imitation of Life. But
you have to see it. I watched like a good 5 minutes of it and I fell asleep because I'm just not big on watching movies, but I need to watch it because I think culturally it does speak to where things were or what things were like for people who were able to pass for white back in the day. But she said the movie Imitation of Light is really great. The woman had a daughter who could pass for white. I don't want to ruin the story for those who've not seen it. So yes, again, check it out free on YouTube. He has to have good hair. Jamie, what is that? Are you responding to
good hair? What's good hair, Jamie?
Yeah, tell us in the comments, Jamie. I don't know. That good hair. We don't speak those terms on this on this channel. We don't talk like that. Aurora says, but passing for white could mean death for you. I think this is repeating because I feel like I read this already. Hold on.
Go back to one of the comments you said about the darker skinned guys dating lighter women, how they have their own insecurities and being with a lighter skinned person makes them feel good about themselves. That doesn't make you any better because you have a lighter skinned mate. And I have seen that before where the guys think that they're doing something because, my wife is this or my girl is this. So, I'm up there and she loves me. And it's like, that's kind of, for me, it kind of shows who you are as a man, your insecurities as a man.
Absolutely. Yes. And again, that shows a little bit of that self-hate that she was kind of
exactly
referring to in our comment. Here, Lola says, I'm just jumping back to comments. When we were asking about qualities of a man, she says, funny, Christian, financially stable, loves family, down to earth, honest, compassionate, someone who understands my love language and dealing with me.
She has a lot of the same things on my list too.
And then V says they need to see you with your ceiling braids. Not me. It won't happen, baby. You still gotta have a measure of, a little mystery. You can do your ceiling when you first wash your hair, but the next day you need to have your hair done because even though they're your husband or your partner, they still want
that takeout has to be nice when you take it out.
Kaya says, I'm currently in an interracial relationship and it's been a beautiful experience and we have learned a lot, exchanging cultures and perspectives.
Oh, that's really cool. That's what I was talking about. You will have to learn the different cultures and different perspectives.
And then Lola says, good job. Okay. I have had 2 friends who I have never seen their real hair. They wear strictly weaves. One friend says when she gets married, her husband will never see her real hair. All right.
Will that happen? You will get 6 at one point and we'll have to take it out.
Thank you. And he gonna say, what is this?
Right.
I thought you had.
That's the first time married.
Let's see. Kaya says there's definitely a double standard. Black men often use white or lighter women as trophies
Yep.
while putting black women down. Then I
Yeah.
see black women often being put down for dating outside their race. So Kaya is experiencing that now. She is a younger of the younger generation, so she is where we've been, right, when it comes to this dating thing. But I see that her generation is a lot. Well, I think she's Gen X, but there are a lot. No, XY. No, she's Gen Z, right? What gen are you? I forgot. She's like between that 18 to 19 area. But anyways, they have a totally different viewpoint about dating as we did back, when I was growing up, because I'm older than you. But they're a lot more open, a lot more liberal, more like into, love of any race. And I think it's good.
I think that's a beautiful thing to see, and it's happening.
Yes. Erica, we will Zoom watch it together. I'll force you to watch it. I'll probably be asleep, but that'll be fine. And whoever, the ones that we know on the crew, if y'all want to join us for our Zoom party for watching Imitation of Life, we'll set that up as well. All right. We have a lot of comments. You guys are doing awesome in these comments. I'm going to also go ahead and jump to the next question. Going forward, how do you think Brown Girls Embrace will impact your followers?
Hopefully, what I want is for girls to embrace themselves, no matter what their issues are. I know I have anxiety, I have depression, I have type 1 diabetes. And growing up, I had a lot of insecurities about these different issues. But like I said, as I got older, I just wanted to embrace it and love it, because there was no need to be angry anymore about it. You just have to embrace your situation and who you are, because you don't love yourself, who will? So I hope other girls will start to embrace who they are, because like this world is full of hateful women, and it's because of their own insecurities. They giving all they take to other girls because it's something personal they're going to. But if they start loving themselves, they can give more love to other girls.
Yes, and that's definitely something that we are trying to create here, because we definitely, as sisters, right, we want to make sure that we are embracing each other, making sure that we are empowering each other. We are definitely encouraging one another, because that's something I feel like a lot of us don't do. Like, what about a good compliment? Oh, exactly. You look beautiful. I like your shoes. You don't have to make up stuff, but find something to compliment someone on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not just looking people up and down.
You don't have to be a groupie or a fan, but you can be polite to a person. You don't have to tear a person down either. And I think tearing down girls it's so common nowadays that that's just second-hand nature to do, is just to tear the next girl down. But why?
Right.
Even these reality shows, like they're tearing each other down, or she this and she that, and it's full of hate. Like I want a reality show where we're loving each other,
Wouldn't that be great? It is, and that's why I stopped watching that kind of stuff, because it does psychologically and like low-key impact your viewpoint of other women, because you start seeing them as an enemy. And really that reality TV is played up so much for that like good scene where they're fighting and throwing wine glasses at each other, about to kill each other. And it's like, but why? Can't you just sit down like grown women and have a conversation? But it's good for ratings. So
yeah, and I think about reality TV show. Tamar Braxton has a new reality show, and she recently tried to commit suicide. And I'm sure it's from being on reality TV for all these years, getting all these negative comments because, of her personality. So we just have to stop tearing each other down.
Absolutely. I like
would you want to commit suicide because of all the attacks that they get from other people?
That's really unfortunate. You would think with the money she has, the prestige, the popularity, that she would be on top of her game. But it's a lot of negativity.
And she can show you that she's a human being too, and she hurts and she cries too, just like everybody else.
Right. She bleeds blood. Clary says, before I married my husband, I took out all my weave. Hello.
Yes.
And made him see my hair all natural after washing. No secrets. So is that something you recommend? Just go ahead and get like baptism by fire. Here you go. This is the afro.
I mean, you can go, get a nice cut and trim and shape, a nice shape to your hair, your natural hair. I mean, being natural is cute too. You don't have to be Miss Silly, She can be natural and cute too.
Come on, what's wrong with Miss Sealy now? Come on, that's how my hair looks right now.
I look a little cute, you know.
Yeah, it is because they say men are visual. I tend to believe that. I tend to. And that, look, going back to this whole colorism issue, is that when they see you, and I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of these guys are like guys, first and foremost. They're men, right? So they're like, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that. They're just echoing what society has taught them. But if you pay attention when you're walking in the mall or walking wherever, they're checking you out.
Yes.
They are checking you out. And then when somebody catch them, oh no, I don't like her. I like this person, that person. No. Bruh, you are a man. So don't even come to me with all that.
And let me tell you what I've experienced when I was growing my locks, when I had my locks, and now that I have my hair cut short. Because I was confident in who I was, how I looked. Because I was confident in my hairstyle or whatever, guys saw my confidence and that attracted them more. So I got a lot of, hey queen, how you doing? A lot of people wanted to approach me because they saw the confidence coming off of me. So, and it's because I was confident with my locks, and I was confident wearing my short haircut and being natural. I had no problem with it. And they saw that and they liked it.
And like you said, the difference is, and I mean, no disrespect to people who choose to wear weaves.
Because I wear a quick weave anytime, and I wear a wig.
To switch it up, right. But you do see that there is a difference. Like someone made a comment, I think it was one of the teacher accounts, said earlier, like, oh, when I'm wearing my weave, I get more attention. I have experienced that. I bought a wig one time and I walked in the mall, and I normally don't wear wigs in the mall. Like that is not my vibe, but I bought it from the mall and the lady insisted on making me wear it to the car. So I did. And I had like 2 or 3 men, typically Afro, no, nothing. But 2 or 3 men were like, hey sis, how you doing? You look good.
Really?
Like telling me that. And I was like, are you
What did I look like?
Because I had a wig, a straight wig on.
Oh, a straight wig.
Yes. And I
usually don't do the straight hair.
Yeah. It was weird after that. I didn't really wear it because I felt fetishized. I'm like, so with my natural hair, you don't see me. But when I throw this wig on, I look great. So I knew it was something with self-hate. Lola says, I don't watch Black reality TV, honestly. It's a bad look, and it's further the narrative that Black women are low class or ghetto or hood or like drama, and I'm not.
Ignorant, yes. And it comes to a certain point where when are we going to stop fighting each other and throwing drinks and running across the table? Like, that's high school. That's child's play. So when are we going to grow up and act like adults and have a civilized conversation?
All right, so I'm going to wrap up these comments because we have already spent a wonderful hour with all of our guests. We thank you all so much for all the comments, you ladies and gentlemen. We're so wonderful. Thank you all so much. Would you like to wrap up with any comments?
No, I just want to say thanks to everybody for joining in tonight. We love the comments and the support you guys gave us tonight. Thank you so much.
All right, so thank you all for coming. I just wanted to thank you for coming out on a Sunday night to wrap up on this colorism issue. We wanted to spend about 60 minutes addressing it. And like I said before, you are welcome to come back, Leslie, because the chat did indicate that they would like to have a natural hair chat. So please, if you're not subscribed, you don't have to look at my other content on this channel, but you might want to subscribe for the lives, because my plan is to bring in more guests or have more conversations. And at some point, I will let you all call in as well and weigh in on some of the topics. So please make sure to subscribe to my channel. Again, this is Erica. I'm also known as Swarthy Daisy. I appreciate everybody. And again, Leslie, thank you so much for coming. We will set up the natural hair chat, and I will let you all know. So if you subscribe, you will get it. You hit the bell and subscribe, and then they'll give you a notification.
Yes. I also started a new YouTube channel. It's called Brown Girls and Breaks. So if you want to subscribe to my channel, listen to, I think I have 2 podcasts up. So you guys can subscribe so I can start putting more podcasts up.
Okay, and where can they find you on Instagram? I just thought of that.
Brown Girls Embrace.
Okay, so it is branded as Brown Girls Embrace. So I am going to sign off. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for all of my moderators. Well, I have one moderator, but thank you all for coming. And I will let us kind of hang for 30 seconds if y'all want to say good night to Leslie, and then we're out of here. Thank y'all so much for coming, and thanks, Leslie.
You're welcome. Thanks, moderator.